Hello students, welcome to the EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Rashmi Sharma, Head of the Department OBNHR, Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Delhi. Today we will learn the module Motivation and Leadership. This module is from the paper Contemporary Issues in HRM and Future Trends. We will be introducing the concept of motivation and leadership. We will understand the different theories behind motivation and leadership and how leadership affects motivation. After completing this module, the students will be able to learn about the meaning and significance of motivation and leadership, study the various theories of motivation and find the relationship between them, learn about different kinds of leadership styles and the difference between these leadership styles, to learn about the interconnectivity between motivation and leadership. Motivation is the reason that an individual acts or behaves in a particular manner. It is the process that accounts for the intensity of an individual's efforts and actions to work towards a set goal. Motivation is the reason that an individual acts in a particular fashion and causes the individual to repeat a set behavior. A motive is what prompts that person to act in a certain way or at least develop an inclination for a specific positive behavior. The motives of individuals are usually to obtain a set goal or preferred outcome to avoid any undesirable result. According to Mayer, motivation is a word that is part of the popular culture as few other psychological concepts are. Motivation has three main elements, which are intensity, that is, how hard a person works towards the attainment of that objective or to avoid anything undesirable. Second is direction, channelizing the intensity of action towards a desired direction. Third, persistence, how long a person can maintain the intensity of action towards that goal. The action of leading a group of people or an organization or the ability to do this is called leadership. It's the ability of an individual to influence and motivate a group of people to work towards a common goal and put personal differences aside. The source of this influence or motive power can be either legitimate, that is, power due to seniority in an organization, referent, that is, influence based on possession by an individual of desirable resources or personality traits. Expert power, it is derived from having expertise and knowledge on a particular subject, etc. Organizations today need strong leadership and effective management for optimal efficiency and effectiveness. Leaders are necessary today to change the status quo, create a vision, and to inspire employees to chase after these visions. Leadership plays an integral part in understanding the group dynamics and organizational behavior because it is the leader that directs the group towards the common goal. The knowledge about what makes a good leader is thus essential to understand the facts of leadership on organizational behavior. Let us understand some theories of motivation. Motivation is one of the most frequently researched topics in organizational behavior. As such, there has been several theories on motivation. Some of the theories are based on the early theories of motivation and very contemporary theories. First, we will discuss the early theories of motivation. Maslow's hierarchy of need represents that each individual has a set of 5 needs that govern the behavior of an individual. Though no need is ever fully satisfied. These are only substantially satisfied, and once a need is substantially satisfied, the need stops being an motivational factor. So, according to Maslow, in order to motivate an individual, we need to determine where the individual is on the hierarchy and satisfy the need at or above that level. The 5 needs are the basic needs that fulfill our physiological desires like food, clothing, shelter and intercourse. Safety, security and protection. Social needs, affection, belongingness, acceptance and friendship. Esteem refers to self-respect, autonomy, achievement which may be internal, or status, recognition and attention which is external. The last on the topmost need is called the self-actualization, that is a drive to become what one is capable of becoming and achieving one's potential. The 5 needs of Maslow have been further classified into the lower order needs and the higher order needs. The lower order needs comprise of physiological and safety needs. The lower order needs are satisfied externally, while the higher order needs comprise the social, esteem and self-actualization needs. These needs are satisfied internally within that person. According to psychologist Frederick Herzberg, all needs of a person can be divided into 2 categories. He classified these as motivators and hygiene factors, and this theory is also called the motivation hygiene theory. The motivators or the satisfiers are usually intrinsic in nature, that is promotion opportunities, growth opportunities, recognition, responsibilities and achievement. The hygiene factors are the dissatisfiers, that is hygiene in the sense that they are considered as maintenance factors that are necessary to avoid dissatisfaction, but they by themselves do not provide satisfaction. For example, quality of supervision, pay, company policies, physical working conditions, relation with others and job security are some of the hygiene factors. The absence of these factors would bring in dissatisfaction, and the presence of it would bring no dissatisfaction. The factors leading to job satisfaction are separate and distinct from those that lead to job satisfaction or job dissatisfaction. Removing the dissatisfiers from the job may not necessarily lead to making the job more satisfying. It is only when motivators are provided that satisfaction can occur, and satisfaction of needs lead to motivation. McClelland's theory of needs was developed by McClelland and his associates. It states that achievement, power and affiliation are 3 important needs that explain motivation. The first one is need for achievement, that is drive to excel, to achieve in relation to a set of standards, to strive to succeed. High achievers have a desire to perform better. High achievers are basically not gamblers, they dislike succeeding by chance. Need for power is the other need. It is the desire to have an impact, to be influential and to control others. High need for power individuals prefer to be placed in competitive and status oriented situations. They are more concerned with prestige and gaining influence over others rather than performance. Need for affiliation refers to the desire for friendly and close interpersonal relationships. Individuals with high need for affiliation strive for friendship, prefer cooperative over competitive situations. McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y. McGregor proposed two views on humans, labeling them and Theory X as negative and Theory Y as positive. Theory X refers to people who have an intrinsic aversion to work and will try to avoid it as much as possible. They must be pressurized, forced, supervised or intimidated with punishment to perform effectively. Such people will avoid tasks and seek formal direction. They place security above all the factors and will display little ambition. Theory Y refers to category of people who view work as being as normal as rest or play. They will exercise self-direction and self-control if committed to objectives. They can learn to accept and request for responsibility. They can make innovative decisions on their own and will also take initiatives. The contemporary theories of motivation are goal setting theory, which states that specific goals lead to increased performance and efficiency as compared to general goals. The tougher goals lead to a greater increase in performance and output than easy goals. The goal commitment occurs and is highest when goals are self-set or are in public. People do better and are much more efficient when they get a feedback on how they are progressing towards their goals. There are many factors that have affected on goal performance relationship such as commitment, task characteristics and national culture. Management by objective or MBO, as we all know, is an application of goal setting theory. MBO converts the overall organizational objectives into specific objectives for cross units and individuals. The common constituents of MBO are goal specificity, participation in decision making, explicit time period and performance feedback. Reinforcement theory is also a contemporary theory. It is a counterpoint to goal setting theory. This theory states that reinforcement conditions behavior. Consequences of actions motivate or demotivate an individual to behave in a particular manner. Reinforcement strengthens a behavior and increases or decreases its likelihood. Positive reinforcement motivates the people to act a certain way, whereas negative reinforcement demotivates the people from acting in the way that can lead to negative reinforcement. Operant conditioning theory is the most pertinent constituent of reinforcement theory. It states that people learn to behave to obtain something they desire or to avoid something that is undesired. Operant behavior is influenced by reinforcement or lack thereof brought about by its consequences. The equity theory focuses on the fact that employees weigh what they put into a job situation. The input may be an effort, experience, education or competence against what they get from it, that is outcome, which may be in terms of salary levels, salary hike and recognition. And when they compare their outcome input ratio with the outcome input ratio with relevance to others, there are 4 possible referent comparisons. Self-inside, that is employees' experiences in a different position in the same or the current organization. Self-outside, that is employees' experiences in a position outside the current organization. Other inside, that is another individual in the organization. Other outside, that is another individual outside the organization. The referent chosen by the individuals depends on 4 factors, that is gender, length of tenure, level in the organization and education. In case of perceived inequality, employees change their inputs, that is they do not exert much of efforts, change their outcomes, distort perception of self. For example, I was wrong when I thought that I work at a moderate pace. I work as hard as everybody else does. Distort perception of others. Mr. X's job is not as desirable as I thought it previously was. Choose a different referent. I do not earn as much as my friend Y, but I am doing a lot better than my dad was doing at my age. Leave the field, that is quit the job. The expectancy theory states that the strength of the tendency to act in a certain way depends on the strength of an expectation that the act will be followed by a given outcome and on the attractiveness of the outcome to the individual. The first step is an individual's effort, which is coupled by the individual's performance, which in turn gives organizational rewards, which helps in actualizing the personal goals. Here, there are 3 steps in understanding individual effort to individual performance, individual performance to organizational rewards, and the rewards to the personal goal. The first step is effort performance relationship, the belief that the effort put in will lead to performance. Second, performance reward relationship, the belief that a particular level of performance will lead to desired outcome. The third, that is reward personal goals relationship, is the fact that the degree to which the organization's reward satisfy the personal goals of the individual. All the contemporary theories of motivation can be found to be interconnected. The various theories only talk about small parts of a bigger whole. We can see the diagram that is given here in the slide. Now let us understand the theories of leadership. The leader is the one that directs the group towards the common goal. The knowledge about what makes a good leader is thus essential to understand the effects of leadership on organizational behavior. There have been several theories regarding leadership. Trait theories are the theories that consider the personality traits and characteristics that differentiate the leaders from the non-leaders. In the late 1960s, the trait theories were undergoing various studies and research. During this period, it was found that different studies were identifying different leadership traits and there were only a small set of common traits. The trait theory underwent a breakthrough when researchers started to organize the traits around the Big Five personality model. The various leadership traits could fit around the Big Five traits and support the trait acting as a predictor of leadership. The behavioral theories propose that specific behaviors differentiate the leaders from the non-leaders, while trait theories provide the basis for selecting the right people for leadership. Behavior theories say that people can be trained to be leaders. The research has narrowed down several dimensions to two that impact leadership behavior. One is initiating structure. It is the degree to which a leader will structure and define his role and that of his employee in the pursuit of goal attainment. Consideration refers to the degree to which the relationship in the workplace are governed by mutual trust, respect for subordinates and regards for their feelings. The Fielder contingency model states that effective leadership depends on the appropriate match between leadership style of interaction between the leader and subordinates and the amount of influence and control gained by the leader due to the situation. According to Fielder, the key factor in leadership is identifying the leadership style of the individual. To achieve this, he has developed the least prefer co-worker questionnaire. After finding the leadership style of the individual, we must match the leader with the situation. Fielder identified three situational dimensions, that is, leader-member relationship, task structure, position structure. The situational leadership theory is a theory of leadership that talks about leadership with the focus on the readiness and willingness of the employees. Four separate dimensions have been identified. Unable and unwilling, that is, leader is required to give clear and specific directions. Unable and willing, leader should inspire and motivate the employees to buy into his desire. Able and unwilling, that is, use of supportive and participative style is necessary. Able and willing, not much of action is required. The path goals theory states that the responsibility of the leader is to assist his subordinates in achieving their goals and provide them with the required direction and support while making sure that their goals are in line with the objectives of the organization. The path goal theory talks about two types of leadership styles. Directional leaders, that is more effective during ambiguous tasks as compared to well-defined tasks. Supportive leaders leads to better results when the tasks are well defined. Leader-member exchange theory looks into the creation of in-groups and out-groups within the team. The subordinates with higher trust, performance rating and interaction with the leader become a part of the in-group. As we can see in the example illustration that has been given in this slide, we can see that subordinate A, B and C belong to the in group and subordinates D, E and F belong to the out group. Personal compatibility, subordinate competence and or extroverted personality of a leader can help in building trust and high interactions with the in-group as well as a formal relations with the outgroup. Charismatic leadership. Charismatic leadership is the process of nurturing certain behaviors in others via force of personality, persuasion, and eloquent communication. Charismatic leaders inspire their followers to do things or to do things in a better manner. This is done by conjuring up the enthusiasm in others for a stated vision or goal. Charismatic leaders have certain key features. Vision and articulation. These leaders have a vision that promises better future than the present and have the ability to express it as an idealized goal. Personal risk. They are generally willing to take risks, incur personal costs, and self-sacrifice in pursuit of goal attainment. Sensitivity to follower needs. They are perceptive to the needs and requirements of their followers. Unconventional behaviors, that is, demonstrate behavior that opposes and is counter to norms. Transactional leadership and transformational leadership is a concept that we are going to understand now. Transactional leadership are the leaders who motivate or inspire their followers towards the direction of established goals through providing clear goals and task requirements. Such leaders have some specific characteristics, that is, contingency awards or rewards. They exchange rewards for good performance and effort. Management by exception, that is, they observe for deviation from the set rule and interferes to take corrective action. Laissez-faire. Transformational leadership. Transformational leaders are those leaders who are able to inspire their followers to rise above the self-interest in the favor of the organizational goals. They usually have a profound, long-lasting and extraordinary effect on their followers. Some characteristics of transformational leaders are idealized influence, that is, they provide the vision and goals and zeal to work towards the goals. Inspirational motivation, they properly communicate their expectations and inspire to exceed the expectations. Intellectual simulation, they promote intelligence, rationality and problem solving. Individualized consideration, they treat the followers as individual and recognize the needs of different people as differently. Now let us understand the linkages between leadership and motivation. There are two major influences that affect how individuals perform in their environment. These influences are type of leadership that exists. The personal motivation, while neither is scientific in nature, there is a significant research that has identified some theories and general conclusions about why people perform, how they perform, and why some people display different behaviors that put them in a position of leadership. Motivation is a goal-oriented characteristics that helps a person achieve his or her objectives. It pushes an individual to work hard at achieving his or her goals. An executive must have the right leadership traits to influence motivation. However, there is no specific blueprint for motivation for obvious reasons. As a leader, one should always keep in mind the perspective of human nature. Knowing different needs of subordinates will certainly make the decision-making process easier. Both an employee as well as a manager must possess leadership and motivational traits. An effective leader must have a thorough knowledge of motivational factors for others. He should be able to understand the basic needs of employees, peers, and his or her superiors. Leadership is used as a means of motivating others and can have a positive impact on the organization. Leadership and motivation are two of the major pillars for the smooth and effective working of an organization. In this module, we have studied about the basic concepts of leadership and motivation. Motivation is the reason that an individual acts or behaves in a particular way. Motivation is the process that accounts for the intensity of an individual's efforts and actions to work towards a set goal. We have studied various theories of motivation, and from these theory, the needs and the basis for motivation such as Maslow's hierarchy of need, two-factor theory, McLean's theory of needs, to the more contemporary theories like McGregor's theory X and theory Y, goal-setting theory, reinforcement theory, equity expectancy theory. We also understood that contemporary theories work in tandem with the leadership and management and gives us a clearer picture of the reasons behind motivation of people. The action of leading a group of people or an organization or an ability to do this is called leadership. It is the ability of an individual to influence and motivate a group of people towards a common goal and put personal differences aside. We have tried to understand the rationale behind the theories of leadership such as trait theories, behavioral theories, Fielder's contingency model, situational leadership theory, path goal theory, leader-member exchange, charismatic leadership, transactional leadership, and transformational leadership. Leadership and motivation go hand in hand. It is the responsibility of the leader to inspire and motivate his or her subordinates and look after their well-being. Thank you.